Kathy, do you want to introduce Yolanda and Delphine?
Well, I'm actually going to have them introduce themselves, and we could start with Delphine, and then Yolanda. And Delphine, you can, if you'd be so kind, just to tell us a little bit of your story for those people that haven't met you before, and then both you and Yolanda can just talk about the Day of Action excitement that you caused down in Springfield.
My name is Delphine Cherry. I used to be a part of the Southland-Indivisible a while ago. My journey started when my daughter, Thaisa Abney, was shot at coming out of a movie theater by a stray bullet by a 14-year-old that was given a gun by an adult. She was graduating from high school that year. She was on her way to nursing school. She wanted to marry the love of her life. She was just an all-around girl. I just didn't have any trouble with her. And so I was pregnant with my son at the time. And then 20 years later, my son went to work. I went to give out Christmas baskets, and he came home to go to a friend's party, a classmate party. And he was attacked in my front yard where he sustained a gunshot and later died from his injuries. And that's the moment when I decided that I wasn't going to lay down anymore. And I was trying to find an organization that dealt with guns. And of course, that's how I ended up being associated with Brady. I ended up starting the Brady, Illinois back. And from there, I went to the executive board of Brady. I served 2 terms, so I'm a fellow. And then I was racially introduced to Illinois Council Against Handguns, which I think was the start of me doing this, because they taught me how to lobby. They taught me how to be very persistent in what I wanted. And I wanted to get the guns off the street. And I never forget, I was having a conversation with one of them. They had the certification bill. And they was like, we've been had this bill for 11 years and we can't pass it. And that was something clicked, let me try. So I spent countless times in Springfield. I mean, bus, train, hitchhike. I was in Springfield talking to people that was against this certification bill that we couldn't pass. And we didn't pass it till after Governor Pritzker we passed it when he became elected and he signed it. Actually, he signed it January 17th, 2017, which is the day of my daughter's demise. So it meant a lot to me. And then from there, I started working on other bills. We did the certification bill, we did the restraining order bill, we did the ghost gun bill. And then the assault was not hard to do. That was funny because I was in Springfield with Yolanda that whole weekend. And me and her had came back home. And I get a call the next day like, hey, you still here? And I'm like, no, I'm home. Well, he's going to sign the bill today. And I'm like, shoot, can you make it back down? I'm like, it's 4:00. When is he signing the bill? They said it's 6. And then here go Maria Pipe calling. I'm on my way to get you. I'm like, for what? We're not going to make it, Maria. So when she pulled up, I had my shoes and my clothes and my arm, jumped in the car. She's like, you got to drive. So we were able to get them to delay it until 8:00 if we can make it by 8. My GPS said 8:36. So of course I did a little maneuver and we got there 3 minutes early, just in time to be pushed, in the forefront. Yeah. So I was there for 4 signings of the bill. And I guess my kids are down up there saying, hey, you doing your thing. And being in Springfield where they're making the laws, you're talking to people, is amazing. And I think this week was Yolanda's first time being in Springfield. And she was like a kid in a candy store, you know what I mean? Because she got to meet everybody. She got to see how things worked. It was amazing to be back in Springfield because this is the first time since the pandemic that this year they have opened up. And unfortunately, I wasn't there today for the signing of the bill because I told them I need to go home, get some rest. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Delphine.
Delphine,
And
no.
Delphine, you can have the last word after Yolanda speaks. You can speak again, so I don't mess with your
No,
plan
I'm
program.
great. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Thank you.
Oh, Delphine, you'll have to come back up though. Like I'm here. I'm supposed to be leaving tomorrow, but I don't know. Something's going to get signed soon, possibly. So maybe I
Right.
should stick around. Maybe. Um, Delphine, I have to tell you. So yes, so my name is Yolanda Androzzo, and I'm the executive director of One Aim Illinois, which is a nonprofit whose mission is to end gun violence through coalition building, education, and and advocacy. And so we have a coalition of members, and Indivisible is one of them, that works to help pass common sense gun laws, and we do that through, like what a lot of organizations here do. We ask our members to make phone calls, call your senator, call your state rep, send out emails, make some noise, tell your lawmakers that, we're not going to stand for this anymore, because people like Delphine Cherry have lost both of her children due to senseless gun violence. And those young people, and I'm assuming we know one of them was a young person, murdered her children who had access to guns that they shouldn't have had access to. We know that our young people are dying, and they're being incarcerated at phenomenal rates, Black and brown children, due to the gun industry. And I'm not saying that there is not some ownership for parenting. And I mean, we're all responsible for the children that we raise. But when you grow up in a community where guns are just there and they're being marketed to you, you're going to make different choices. So, and when you don't have opportunities. So One Aim also aims to educate the public on the root causes of gun violence. The way I've worked with incarcerated youth in my previous position, I ran a storytelling program inside of juvenile detention centers and had the opportunity to work with young people who had been impacted by gun violence, who had made really bad choices, some of them had, picked up a gun and shot other individuals because they couldn't pause in the moment. We know that young people, their brains are not developed. We turn like 25. Think of all the dumb choices we made when we were young. It's just a cycle of violence, a cycle of death and incarceration that seems to never end. And then we come to an impasse. And that impasse looks like thousands of people across the country coming together to say we've had enough. And in so many states, including, of course, in Illinois, we are working together to make our community safer through passing policies. So, we recently worked together before my time with One Aim. We passed several policies, including like Fix the Floyd bill. That was wonderful. And then recently we passed the ghost guns ban, which is great. And people would ask me, well, what difference does this make? I mean, come on, like it's, is it really going to make a difference? Well, within a week, I think, of passing the ghost guns ban, or maybe it was a few days before, a young man was murdered downtown Chicago, was just there visiting with his friends, a high schooler, and walking around, and someone killed him, murdered him with a ghost gun. And his mother, he was from the Roseland community, this young man, and his mother was very afraid and told him, I don't want you to go downtown. But he wanted to go downtown just to experience and have fun with his teenage friends. He just graduated high school. So when people ask me, well, what difference does a ghost guns ban make? I was like, well, it would have saved at least that life, policies are very important to pass, laws are important to pass, but we also need to look at the root causes behind gun violence, and know that we are all accountable. We're all in this together. And that's something that I really love about Delphine, is that, and some of the other survivors that I work with, who even despite the pain, losing of their children being taken from them, because we aren't just losing our young people to gun, they're being taken from us, believe that change is possible. You know, and I don't know how much Delphine talks about it, but, you know, she's a co-founder of the Thai Foundation in honor and name of her son, who was Tyler, who was murdered. And it's so important to acknowledge that due to inequity, we've got this situation. So the policies can help balance it out. Because I've worked in communities, South LA, East LA, West Side, South Side of Chicago, and I've lost some students due to gun violence. So being a part of One Name Illinois that work with communities to enact common sense gun laws through advocacy is a blessing. So as Delphine shared, we were recently in Springfield, and I've been here for a week. HB 218 was just passed. It's just passed the Senate. So we know that's going to be at the governor's desk soon. And that's the Gun Industry Accountability Act, which is also FIRA, the Firearms Industry Responsibility Act. It's AG Kwame Raoul's bill. Yes, we're so excited. So thank you for all of your advocacy, you know, signing those petitions, making those calls, sending those emails. It really makes a difference. It was cool. I mean, it was so, yes, like Delphine said, I was like a kid in a candy store. I mean, it was great. I got down here, there's people from all across the country, and we're like walking to the Capitol on Advocacy Day, and, you know, I had an opportunity to chat with folks, interview people, and then be on the grass right in front of the Capitol to listen to people on the microphone talking about how important this bill is. We heard from Kwame Raoul, and had an opportunity to hear from young people and survivors. They had an opportunity to share their stories in meeting with legislators, which is important. It's important, no matter what the work that we're doing, to give space to hear no matter what it is they have to say, right? Whether it's about the bill or not, for them to share that personal story, because ultimately that is why we are here. For me, it's not about what group gets the credit. It's not about a group getting a credit. It is about the purpose behind the movement, and that is to prevent future deaths and injury from gun violence, and also, you know, to honor those who have been taken due to senseless gun violence. So to see some of the different groups that were down here, to meet with the legislators, and honestly, just to kind of break bread with you know, the Illinois chapter of Moms Demand Action. I met Lauren Harper, who is one of the leads, and some of the volunteers, and for us just to come together and say, hey, you know, we need to work together. You know, we're working together now, but we need to continue to strengthen that, and to hear and to just hug each other, and to hear and to embrace the youth in it too, because we did have some youth that were down here. What can I say? The icing on the cake was that we passed 218. You know, and now we're, I believe, the 9th state, you know, to have a gun industry accountability bill. There's so much we can do with that. Our survivors can, you know, we're going to sue the rogue gun manufacturers. So I'm done, but that was kind of a long update, but it's been an amazing experience for me. And I'm so grateful to have Delphine's partnership. She's also one of our board members and one of the longest standing activists in this movement that we have.
Yolanda, as always, you bring such amazing energy into the space. And now tonight you brought us Delphine into the space. So Delphine, anything else you would like to say? That it sounded like a wonderful time, and I wish I could have been there too. A wonderful time in seeing the legislation get passed, and you've done all the work, all of you.
To make a point about the ghost guns, you know, ghost guns was been around for a long time, and we just recognized it 7 years ago. And I just remember going to an NRA. I think they were having a convention, and I snuck into an NRA convention, and that was when I first saw a ghost gun. And I asked, "Can I take pictures?" And they're like, "Sure, take whatever you want," you know. And I came back, and I was so upset because I was seeing the 3D printer guns, I was seeing the ghost guns, and Tom Dark took it upon himself to raise that bill. And it didn't take it long. I'm sorry, it didn't take it long to get passed. So it seemed like we're moving in the right direction, which is good. And that's all I'm gonna say for now.
Well, thank you. It is because of you and other survivors, and because of Yolanda and the work she's doing, and other groups too, of course, that we see this movement. So
Right.
it's pretty amazing.
Including NWSOFA and Indivisible. So, you know, you do incredible work as well. And I'm so grateful. Thank you for having us on.
So I appreciate having like the, you know, the actions, like, you know, call and witness slip,
Yes.
whatever. How big is that list? And, you know, how do we keep growing that list so that we can make those things even more powerful?
I like that question. I don't know.
Well, you know, see,
I will find
in
out.
Springfield, right? In Springfield, I think when I testified with Maria, it was like 663 witness slips. So we just keep generating the email and tell people to sign that witness slip. So it's fairly easy, and they do get recognized in Springfield when they do the hearings. They will call off the number of witness slips they have.
And do we have like Moms Demand Action? Are they on that distribution? Or are they doing that? Are they sending out their blast separately?
Well, they
Yeah.
sent out their blast separately, but we're
Okay.
all working together.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. It's wonderful.
Yeah, like for example, I'll get an email from the Moms Demand Action volunteers or leadership that'll say, "Hey, this is the messaging we're sending." And I'm like, "Okay, how does this look? I'm going to send out this email. Is this good?" Yeah. Send it out. Same with Amnesty. Amnesty's doing like they're doing phone banking. I'll get a call from El Francisco, and they'll say, "Hey, you know, can you share this?" And I'll send that out. So I'm willing to send out anything that I get, you know, and I think, and they will share my alerts as well. I think we can do a better job I think maybe coordinating, maybe what I'd like to put together. I think the next step would be like those groups that have like deep membership. I think we should meet and figure out how we can better coordinate. So I get so many emails that get a lot of Bill's emails that I want to share and send it to the coalition, but I've just got like 30 emails like, "Stop sending me stuff. I'm getting too much stuff." And then they ask to be like, they're like, "Take me off your list." And I'm like, "Oh." So I'm like, what can I do? You know, like I want everybody to have the information. So, and I know you have a calendar, Bill, and Poe has started a national calendar. Maybe it's a Google group that we need. And then, you know, we can just all submit. But I think we need to figure that out so that we can share each other's information in a way that's, you know, quick, because we're all running a mile a minute. But I have to tell you, though, I have gotten so much support. I just had, you know, a couple of phone calls and, you know, meetings with Moms Demand Action leadership. And, you know, it's all about relationships, right? And it's about building those personal relationships, because no matter what job you have, what field you're in, there is always going to be something that comes up. There's always going to be conflict. It's going to be there. But if you make those personal relationships and you remember that we're all we have the best intent, right? We have good intentions. Sometimes we make mistakes, right? But if we keep in mind, the bottom line is we're here to save lives. We're here to do the work. We need to, get over our own egos, our own insecurities, if they're there, because we're human beings, right? But to continue to do the work. And that's what I love so much of working with Kathy and NWSOFA, and that there's a
NWSOFA.
transparent, right. Thank you. Get off the sofa. There is a transparent relationship. I really appreciate that. I would rather people tell me what issue they may have rather than it fester in the background, right? And so I'm blessed to have friends like this. I'm blessed to have an opportunity at this point in my life to know people like Delphine, who continue to fight and who's been a great supporter and friend to me, despite what she deals with every day, because the trauma of losing of your children being taken from you never goes away. And that's the other thing we need to keep in the forefront so that, we can continue to collaborate effectively. So, yeah.
Well, Yolanda, thank you. And Delphine, thank you so much. There's nothing that we do without you in mind. All the survivors, Delphine, we do this for you. And we're so grateful to have Yolanda helping to send us in good directions to move forward,
Right.
to make a difference with policy. So,
She is a hard worker. She's a hard worker. She got that Maria energy in her.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. And that is rare. But and that's where I get all this hope in this world, is from people like you, Delphine, and Yolanda and Maria, and everyone who comes here, like Yolanda said, focus on building relationships, making a difference, who's not here in it for themselves, who's in it just to help save lives, and in it without a personal political agenda themselves, to advance themselves through this work, just wanting to make a difference in the lives of families in America. And I think that's what you found, Yolanda, here with Bill, and certainly with Natalie and with me. And I'm glad you have found this to be a place that you can call home, because you're family, and you too, Delphine. So thank you so much.
We got to celebrate the victories, and that's what this has been about. Thank you so much for having us on to celebrate, the victory, and along with all the other advocates that kind of made this work happen. And Delphine, we love you, and we care about you. And Kathy, you are absolutely amazing. And Natalie, so are you. And of course, Bill, who was the first guy in this movement that was like, who are you and why are you on this? You're on this meeting? That's great. All right, keep coming. So, and I did. So, so I will hop off now. Thank you so much, Kathy. You make such a difference, and you're such a good friend.
Thank you so much, Yolanda. I feel the same
Bye,
towards you.
Yolanda.
And
Very
Delphine, thank you
nice.
so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy your evenings.
I
You
will.
too.